Indeed, it's like play on, player, right? The next generation sure can humble the one that just became retired. That's indeed for sure. James Blake, Chris Evert, Darren Cahill alongside. What do we make of this new two, Darren? You're right there in the thick of it with Yannick and Carlos, and I know how proud you are of what Yannick's bounced back and done here. But to see them once again, barely a month, July 8th, June 8th, July 13th, that's all we have in between these major championships. And it's the two guys again.
Honestly, I could not have dreamed that it was going to be this final after Roland Garros. So, as you said, incredibly proud of what Yannick's been able to do. But these guys have stopped surprising us in the last couple of years because of what they've been able to accomplish and how good they've become. So all these little things, the results they're having, the epic matches they're helping with each other, the way they're playing, the way their games are evolving, it's no surprise now to see them back in the business end of a tournament like this and going at it again. And you can feel that anticipation, certainly for us being in Yannick's team, and I know Carlos's team is exactly the same. I remember a story from 3 years ago when Carlos and Yannick played in Miami. And it was an epic match as well. And both guys were cramping in this match. It was your tournament.
I was sitting there watching front row.
Both guys were cramping. An incredible match. And Yannick actually won that match. And I went up to Juan Carlos Ferrero, who is Carlos's coach, afterwards. And I said, "So sorry, mate, great match." And he goes, "Oh my God, these two guys are going to kill each other." That's what he said 3 years ago. And every match they seem to play, turns out that there's swing abouts, there's match points lost, there's epic rallies. And yeah, it's wonderful to see two guys doing what they're doing, and they're pushing each other a lot.
Yes.
I remember that match. I think I said something on social media saying that one of the points during it was one of the best points I've ever seen live.
Still
it was absolutely incredible. But it's so exciting as a tennis fan to get to watch them because they're pushing each other. Same way you and Martina pushed each other. And to see Roger, when he was so dominant, and then Rafa comes along and now he pushes him and he makes Roger better. Roger makes Rafa better, and now Novak makes them both better, and they both push Novak to be the greatest of all time. And these guys are doing it every single time they face each other. And I thought that was in 23 when they played in Miami. And I was like, it can't get any better than this. And then they keep topping it. And we'll see what we're in store for in the finals here at Wimbledon.
You know, the women we just went through, the last 5 majors have been won by 5 different women. The last 9 times here, since Serena's last run in 2016, 9 different women have now claimed the championships, including Serena in that year. There's been a void post-Williams in women's tennis as far as finding that 1 or 2 dominant champions year in and year out. The men haven't gone through that. And I think that's what makes this so uncanny.
Is that a bad thing, though?
No, I just think it's unusual. I think it's unusual, and it's fascinating.
I think it's great. I think it's also that a lot of times people will say, okay, it's too much of just one or too much, and then it's too much parity. Like the grass is always greener, but I love the fact that we've got both right now. We've got dominance on the men's side, and it's the young guys pushing the greatest of all time, possibly pushing him towards retirement. But on the women's side, there's so much parity, and there's so much variety, and we can go into any slam for the women and say there's 10, 12, 15 women that could actually win this, and every time have that be true, whereas I feel like we could have said this could very easily be the final and been accurate on the men's side.
Yeah, I agree. I think, you know, when Serena was dominating, I mean, that was like the highest part of women's tennis. I mean, because she surpassed tennis, and she just went into every other area of the world, and she became like iconic. And it was great for the game, it was great for ratings. And then we've had, you know, Martina and myself and Steffi and Monica, the rivalries we've had have done almost as well, if not as well, have done very well, you know, because everyone picks a player. Okay, I'm going to root for her, you're going to root for her. But then, as you said, James, and then there's the field. And you get to learn new stories. And you get to get behind players that you normally don't get behind. And you see players, you know, start to have rivalries, and that makes it more interesting to see new faces too. So I don't know which one is better for.
I don't think one is better.
Yeah, right. No, but I don't know. But we're going through, obviously, I don't know though. We're kind of going through. We're getting to a stage where there will be a rivalry, I think, in the women's game.
But back to the men with Carlos and Yannick, because you still have Novak, who is a member of the Big Three. So let's not forget that, because he is still getting to semifinals. He's made the semifinal at every major tournament this year, but there is starting to look like there could be a gap.
I do think it'll be different in the men's game in the next 2 or 3 years, because there are players coming through that are desperate to be a part of this. You listen to
Like who?
Jack Draper
Yeah.
speak about
Yeah.
things. Holger Rune is also making changes to his team and the way he does
And
things.
Taylor
Taylor
played
Fritz.
a
Taylor
really nice
Fritz.
match.
And there's a whole bunch of Americans coming through it. Ben Shelton.
Ben Shelton.
Even
yeah.
the way he spoke after that Yannick match, he's like, I'm going to work my backside off for the next 6 weeks to be absolutely ready for the US Open. And he's serious.
Yeah.
So they are paying attention to what Carlos and Yannick are doing. They're watching practices. They're watching the way they go about things. And they're making adjustments now before it's too late. And they'll catch up. They will cause different rivalries within the men's game. But clearly, Yannick and Carlos at the moment have a bit of a gap.
Yeah, and they have a bit of a match tomorrow. The men's
that's right.
championship. Darren, tell us what you went over, you and Yannick did in practice today, and how is he looking? How is he feeling?
Honestly, a normal practice. He practiced about 90 minutes. We go through the same routines. He just wants to feel the ball, feel every possible situation, every scenario. With Nico Gotzig, who's Mary Jo's young fella, who's done a couple of years at Stanford now, and a good player, very good player actually. So it was a great 90 minutes. And maybe about 75 minutes with Nico, and then the last 15 minutes with both Simone and myself, just feeding balls and feeding different scenarios. This is what you might get. This is where you need to take the backhand. This is what you might get on the forehand if it sits up a little bit high. This is what we'd like you to do. Practicing the drop shot, using a little bit of variation. You know, all the little things that we work on every day. It's just really trying to be brilliant at the basics, which we keep pushing as coaches all the time. Just do it over and over again so it becomes more normal.
I think what you said the first time, though, just to get your feel and to get the timing and just to feel good when you're out there, feel good about hitting the ball cleanly. I think that's the most important thing, because it's stupid to work on moving. You're not going to improve moving in a day, but it's good. You practice every little thing when you're out there.
I don't think anyone accentuates brilliant at the basics better than Jannik Sinner. I mean, he takes the forehands, the backhands, the simple things, the things that you learn when you're young, and he does them exceptionally well. And that's what gets him to number one in the world, is not doing all the fancy stuff, just doing everything, the meat and potatoes, as well as anyone's ever done it.
Well, I think also what he has over the field is his very much, like Novak Djokovic, is his extraordinary focus. I mean, he's in the moment. He's in every single point. He does not have dips. There aren't highs and lows in his games. He's pretty much tunnel vision, just like Iga was today. And also, he is offensive on every shot. Also, and think of Iga today. He's offensive on every single shot that he hits him. With the big serve, he's got a pretty good chance tomorrow.
Good luck, Darren.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Good luck.
All right.
Thank you.
We continue.